Amara was only 16 when her mother, Akit, remarried. 4 years, Akit had struggled as a single mother, working tirelessly to provide for her only daughter. Basie seemed like a dream come true, a charming, soft-spoken man who quickly gained Akit's trust and affection. At first, Basie appeared perfect. He praised Amara's academic brilliance and even paid her school fees when Akit struggled. For a fleeting moment, Amara believed her life was finally taking a turn for the better. But dreams turned into nightmares. Basie's affectionate words became controlling commands. His lingering stares filled Amara with unease. She began avoiding him, retreating to her books and studies, but nothing could have prepared her for what was to come. The day it all fell apart began like any other. Amara woke up early, rushing to prepare for her mock exams. As she reached for her school bag, she froze. There was something heavy inside. Confused, she opened it to find bundles of cash stuffed inside, a staggering amount she had never seen before. Her heart raced as panic set in. Before she could process it, Basie stormed into her room with a thunderous voice. "You thief," he roared, dragging her into the living room where her mother sat, visibly confused. "What is going on?" Akit demanded, but Basie didn't let her finish.
"This is what your daughter has been up to," he bellowed, tossing the cash onto the table. "I found this in her bag. She stole it from the cupboard where I kept the hospital money for your antenatal care." Amara's world crumbled. "I didn't take it. I don't know how it got there," she cried, tears streaming down her face. But Basie's performance was flawless. He feigned heartbreak, shaking his head in disappointment. "After everything I've done for you, Amara? How could you betray this family like this?" Akit's face turned pale. The neighbors, drawn by the commotion, gathered at the door, whispering and judging. Amara pleaded with her mother, but Akit's eyes were filled with doubt and shame. "Amara, if you didn't take it, how did the money end up in your bag?" Amara couldn't answer. Her voice cracked under the weight of accusations. That night, she lay in her room, staring at the ceiling, tears soaking her pillow. She had never felt so helpless, so alone. The humiliation didn't end with the accusation. At school, rumors spread like wildfire. She was expelled, her friends distanced themselves, and even her teachers looked at her with disdain. Weeks later, a new nightmare unfolded. Amara began feeling nauseous, lightheaded, and exhausted. She initially dismissed it as stress, but when she missed her period, dread gripped her heart. She couldn't ignore the truth anymore. Memories of Basie's threats came flooding back. Late at night, when Akit was asleep, Basie would sneak into Amara's room, pin her down, and whisper venomous words in her ear. "If you tell anyone, I'll destroy you. Your mother will never believe you. You'll ruin her life, Amara." This was his words whenever he fist on her. She would struggle in pain, but no one will come to her rescue. Sometimes she wished life will just take a pause for her to end it all, the lies, the molest and the betrayal. One night, Amara gathered all her courage and confronted Akit. "Mama, I need to tell you something," she began, her voice trembling. Akit, visibly tired from her pregnancy, looked up. "What is it, Amara?" "It's Basie." Amara's voice broke as tears overwhelmed her. "He's the father of the child I'm carrying." Akit's expression shifted from confusion to shock, then to anger. "What are you saying? Do you know what you're accusing my husband of?" "It's the truth, Mama. He's been coming to my room at night. He's been threatening me." But before Akit could process the revelation, Basie walked in. Calm and composed, he laughed coldly. "What nonsense is this girl talking about now? Pregnant? You see what happens when you allow teenagers to live recklessly? Now she's trying to pin her mistakes on me." Akit's face was a mask of torment as Basie continued. "I've done nothing but try to help this family, and this is the thanks I get. Lies and accusations. Ask her who the real father is." Amara screamed, "You're lying. You're the one who—" "Enough," Akit yelled, silencing them both. She walked away, tears streaming down her face. Amara, shattered but determined, sought help. She turned to Chidi, her childhood friend, the only person who still believed in her. Together, they began digging into Base's life. Chidi discovered Base's illegal dealings, including fraud and blackmail. They even found a neighbor who overheard him threatening Amara late at night. But the most damning evidence came when Amara secretly recorded Base admitting to framing her for the theft during a phone call. His words were brutal as he reminded Amara of how he pleasured himself with her pain and tears, and would do more harm to her if given chances to. Amara was trembling at the other side of the phone. "Don't worry," Base said. "The girl's already ruined. No one will believe her. I've made sure of that." He told his accomplice when they got to the station. Amara handed the recording to Detective Anayo, a diligent and compassionate officer who had been following the case. Detective Anayo orchestrated a family meeting, ensuring witnesses were present. Amara sat beside her mother, trembling but resolute. Base entered with his usual arrogance, but his confidence faltered when the recording played. His voice filled the room, confessing to the theft and his abuse of Amara. The neighbors gasped. Ekit sobbed uncontrollably. A DNA test confirmed that Base was the father of Amara's unborn child. Police officers arrived to arrest him. As they dragged him away, he turned to Amara with venom in his eyes. "You'll regret this." But Amara didn't flinch. She had endured too much to be afraid anymore. Ekit, broken and remorseful, begged Amara for forgiveness. "I failed you, my daughter. I should have protected you." Amara forgave her, knowing that healing was the only way forward. Together, they moved to a new town, leaving the shadows of their past behind. Amara gave birth to a baby boy, naming him Chukwemeka. God has done well. With her mother's support, she returned to school, determined to become a lawyer and fight for others who had been silenced like her. Years later, Amara stood in a courtroom, defending a young girl with a hauntingly familiar story. As she spoke, her voice was steady, her heart strong. She had turned her pain into purpose, proving that even in the darkest moments, light could be found.